I've been a nurse in Canada for a while now, but before I became a registered nurse, I failed my NCLEX twice. And if I had to retake the NCLEX again today, these are three things I would do differently. The first one is I will stop trying to complete an entire textbook before adding practice questions to my routine. I used to convince myself that I needed to complete the topics and complete the chapters before I was ready. So I kept reading and reading and reading. I was treating the NCLEX as if I was reviewing a project as opposed to studying for an exam that was going to evaluate my critical thinking skills. The problem was not like I did not have enough nursing knowledge. That's usually not the problem. The problem is I was not applying what I had learned or the information that I was acquiring from reading those textbooks into my routine. And so if I had to do it again, I would include the practice questions with my study so that that can guide me better. The second thing I'll stop doing is to stop chasing scores. Let me tell you, my good days were the days that I got scores that I lacked, scores that made me feel good, and the bad days were the days that I didn't like my scores. So I'll tell myself, oh, it's probably not your day. But I was measuring the wrong thing. I was focused more on my scores as opposed to trying to figure out where my thinking was broken. I was not trying to see at that point in time, was it my prioritization? Was it my delegation? Was I picking answers that sounded familiar as opposed to answers that kept my patient safe? Was I missing important details in the question? Because you have to understand the stem of the question. So was I missing those important details? I failed to realize that by measuring the wrong thing and focusing on my scores. So if I had to do that again, I would pay more attention to the mistakes I was making and learning from them, reading my rationales as opposed to focusing on my scores. The third thing that I'm going to not do when if I had to study for the NCLEX again, I beg your pardon, is I would add questions much earlier to my routine because that tells you how the NCLEX wants you to think. And very truthfully, I have to tell you, having failed the NCLEX two times and passing on my third attempt and working as a nurse in Canada, I have come to find that knowing content and applying content are two different things. And that's why those questions are important because they will help you earlier on to start figuring out what kind of things you should pay attention to. It helps you to focus on patterns, right? And so those are the things that I would change if I had to retake the NCLEX again. Let me know if this helps you. I've also linked down below my free guide and the resource that I use and I recommend that worked for me down in the comment as well. Okay, thanks. See you in my next one, guys.